We have Mayuresh Joshi joining in now. Good afternoon, Mayuresh. Your thoughts on Paytm and a lot of these new age companies? I mean, some of them have found their, footing in the month of June itself.
Afternoon, Mangala. Oh, absolutely. And in fact, once the Paytm management had given a very positive outlook a couple of quarters back, and as they have started delivering in terms of numbers, I think the kind of expectations that a lot of analysts had, specifically in relation to the September quarter, I think they have fared a tad bit better before that itself. So I think the outperformance in terms of earnings delivery that is coming through for Paytm obviously is getting reflected in terms of the price as well. And therefore, I think the strong momentum that the stock probably carried at this juncture is something that might get elongated or consolidated in the near future. So I think as the numbers keep on coming in, and if the numbers are beating street estimates, I think you'll probably see that within the platform companies, I think this stock probably will stand out.
Okay, that's Paytm. Mayuresh, hi, good afternoon. Let's get your view on the nifty winner today. What a move on Tata Consumer, right? It's a fresh 52-week high on the stock. I think the market's just pretty enthused maybe with the commentary that's coming in the annual report. I think obviously company making some pretty grand statements about becoming an all-encompassing consumer company. But your take, given where the price is, the dynamics, all that's at play, what's your view on the stock?
Afternoon, Surbi. I think it's been a stark outperformer over the past few weeks. And again, I think very, very positive commentary from the management as far as the outlook is concerned is very, very supportive as far as the price is concerned. Now, as far as the core business is concerned, expectations in terms of discretionary spending holding out, at least for the urban and the semi-urban markets, is something that will hold in good stead for a lot of these consumer discretionary companies in general. What you've probably seen across its product lines have been a very stable performance, both in terms of top line and some elements in terms of margin compression in the past few quarters, which was very, very volatile. With input costs coming off, you are expected to largely observe that margins across their product suite should largely remain very, very stable. Last but not the least, in terms of the various segments that they have on offerings and the various SKUs that they're probably planning, the kind of market share gains that they can probably do with a far more retail outreach or rural outreach and consolidation in terms of their various businesses as well. I think a lot more synergies can get built in both on the revenue and the cost side. So yes, I think on the O'Neill lens, Tata Consumer, Mangala mentioned the stock Nestle, they still remain on our global policies.
All right. Hi, Mayuresh. Mayuresh, what about Somany Ceramics? The ceramic space is buzzing. Somany Ceramics has promised in the past, but delivery has been a little bit short, though it enjoys that valuation comfort. As we speak, the stock is spiking up. Your view on the ceramic space, and does Somany find a mention in there?
Afternoon, Nigel. So again, I think in terms of how the numbers are placing, you're absolutely right. What probably happens in terms of volume growth going forward, I think is going to be a very critical element for most of these ceramic stocks. So if you're talking about Somany, I think Cera is one stock on the O'Neill lens, which trades above all moving averages, above its key pivot levels as well. But a large element in terms of that input cost, and specifically gas pricing expected to go down significantly, is going to be a big boost in terms of the margin performance itself. Now, as operating margins stabilize, I think it's entirely a game in terms of how volumes are expected to play out. My own sense in terms of volume growth should be reasonable enough for most of these ceramic companies going forward. As a proxy on what you've probably seen in terms of real estate too, I think ceramic players should be in a big advantage going forward. And therefore, operating leverage should start playing out quite meaningfully in the second half as demand comes back very, very strongly for most players. But between the two, yes, I think Cera a little bit richly priced compared to Somany, but Cera probably remains on our lens as it trades above key moving averages and key pivot levels on the O'Neill.
Okay, got that. Now, just looking at some stocks on the move, and Aster DM has suddenly taken off. There's an 8% move on Aster. It's the big one out there in terms of the mid-cap action. Zomato is down about 6%. Quite a cut on Zomato on the lower side. Some interesting moves on both sides of the spectrum, basically. Aster days high and Zomato lots of pressure. Mayuresh, do you track Aster by any chance?
Don't do, Surbi, but what we are really liking at this juncture at O'Neill, again, a proxy in terms of how stock markets have behaved, the expectations in terms of retail investors, is KFin Technology, I think. The stock has been doing really well in terms of numbers delivery. Numbers in terms of revenue growth has been outstanding. EBITDA margins for the quarter gone by almost 45%, largely annualized around 41-42%. ROE is more than 25%, cash on books at 300 crores. And an absolute proxy in terms of how the demat accounts are growing. Incremental addition in the month of May itself for around 2 million accounts. Equity AUM market share 37%, in the issuer solutions around 47%. And therefore, I think a very strong balance sheet along with very strong price action is what we can probably expect. So don't track Aster, Surbi, to answer your question. But something at this juncture that we probably like as a proxy to the markets is KFin Tech.